My name is Ayanfe. Um, I'm a community organizer, activist, artist, farmer, mother, grandmother, teacher. Chronically underemployed. Um, Living in different places, sometimes on public assistance, sometimes not. Living in places for barter and trade, work trade type of things. In North Carolina before I moved to Michigan. So none of these housing agencies through VASH would honor our voucher in that one county, which is where we needed to be. And then when the winter, so we had planned to move up here and be able to move into a house with our VASH veterans voucher. And when we found out we couldn't use the voucher there, we had already started to pay down on a piece of raw land. So we ended up having to go and live on the land where there was like an RV and a couple of small structures. But once winter set in, which was surprisingly to me, being not from Michigan, by the time Thanksgiving came, our pipes were frozen. We did not have running water, and there was snow on the ground. So we decided to come to the city where we could re-engage to get housing assistance. So we had to leave from there with just what we had carrying, in our vehicle, and leave all our things behind, which we weren't even able to go back and check on until after the spring, after the thaw. We just had to leave everything in a frozen state. And we didn't have means and ways to go back and forth. So once we ended up in Grand Rapids, we re-engaged with the Veterans Administration, and we were issued another VASH voucher pretty much right away. We went to Community Rebuilders, and we were housed by Community Rebuilders in a one-bedroom apartment with me, my partner then, and my 14-year-old son. At the time, he was 14. And so we ended up in that apartment for about a month and a half before we found a house. And we had to really be diligent and dogged about advocating for ourselves to get into places, because a lot of landlords were trying different tricks to say we weren't qualified, or they would even though we had a housing voucher, they would try to require us to have 3 times the amount of monthly rent and income, which if we had that, we wouldn't qualify for a voucher. Some of them tried to act like they could not count our voucher as income. So we ran into a lot of pitfalls, but we were, both of us being activists and organizers, we were informed, whereas a lot of people would have been discouraged and probably would have just given up. Anyway, fast forward about a year later, I ended up leaving from that relationship and having to go back into a homeless mode with my teenager. And at the time I was working 20 hours a week. And so trying to figure out how to sustain myself in a teenage child, a teenage dependent in Grand Rapids, off of $1,000 a month was not really doable. I really didn't feel like I had the option to go into housing, like a shelter situation with my child, because he has health concerns and he has a diminished immune system. I tried to go and re-engage with Community Rebuilders and explain to them that I was back in the same place that I had been a year ago when I first came to them, and I really just wanted to ask to see my old case manager to like get some insight, like direction, like where should I start? And they refused to even let me see my old case manager. They told me I had to go through the Salvation Army HAP and, start over or whatever. And yeah, but I mean, I just wanted to like talk to a friendly face that was there that helped me when I was in that situation before. I thought that would be helpful for me. Go downstairs and start over. So it was like, go directly to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200 or whatever. So I was referred to like go through Salvation Army. I went a few times. I went first when I first was homeless. And I had employers who, when they found out I didn't have a place to go, they kind of made a makeshift place for me and my son so that we wouldn't be out in the elements in November. So that was kind of a challenge. And so, yeah, they were sticking their necks out for me, and I appreciated that. I had a friend that offered me a place to stay temporarily, knowing that I had a child and knowing where I was staying and that it really wasn't appropriate. And so they actually asked me like a few times before I took them seriously, and then I sat down and had a conversation with them and explained to them what I needed out of the situation, and they were comfortable with that, and so they were able to give me a place to stay for the rest of the school year because of my son. But at the same time, it made my homeless situation not an emergency anymore because I technically was under a roof. So I've kind of been in a homeless limbo state for 6 months or more. And I have to leave from here by the end of the month, and I don't know where I'm going yet, and it's stressful for me and my son. And I worry about it taking a toll on him because he needs to be in a safe, stable place. We both work now. This is his second summer working. And I don't really want to like add extra burden and worry onto him about like where we're gonna be staying in the next couple weeks, or getting up and getting to work on time, and what's that gonna be like, and yeah, I don't know.